Hey guys, Soph here. I'm gonna do my final installment in my let's sit down and talk about healers. I do still have to do Holy Priest, but I haven't actually played Holy Priest yet, so that is still to come. But we're gonna finish it off by talking about Holy Paladin. I've been dreading this one a little bit because if you don't know me, I made a Holy Paladin on live. I've been playing a Holy Paladin this entire tier. In Mythic Raid and in High M+. So, for someone to be maining a class and the last video that they do about a spec is on their main, you know that there's something wrong. Now, Holy Paladin right now is, in my opinion, very weak. Its throughput is quite low, its CDs are very long, its mana consumption is very high. Its playstyle feels pretty clunky and pretty useless, in my opinion. Now, I think that there is going to be people who comment on this video and be like, you're wrong, or like, that's not true, or whatever. But let me just tell you, after maining this spec on live, and then trying to play it on beta, it just feels, for one, it feels completely different, and for two, it feels substantively weaker. Now, I'm a Kyrian. I want to test Night Fae again, but the spec feels so bad that I haven't put any effort in. I don't know if I'm going to make more videos on the guide, like more videos about M+, because this spec relies heavily on your CDs. And in these dungeons, you can't really just loiter around for like 2 to 3 minutes while you wait for your CDs to come back up. And that in itself is slightly problematic because its throughput without these CDs is quite low, I have to admit. Now, I have a hard time, if in this video, which is on my channel, keeping people up. Like, they just kind of fall over because I don't have enough tools. And, like, cast times are very long. Like, very long. Obviously, haste is low, I get that. But right here, we take all of this damage, and then I'm just, like, struggling. Okay, I've popped wings. Good. It still, even with wings, takes me forever to get people topped up in time. It's absolutely insane. I'm still struggling in my wings right now, as you can see. And, like, yes, it got some extra spells to help, but that doesn't make much of a difference for this spec. Like, as you can see, I'm almost, like, I'm running out of mana because I have to cast Flasher Light, Holy Light. Holy Light's not even worth casting at the moment because the cast time is just so long. It just feels like before you get the cast off, your people are just gonna die. So it's hard to get that cast off, and Light of the Martyr does a fair chunk of HP of yours, which maybe is because we have less HP, so it's much more noticeable. But, like, as you can see, I have to drink all the time, and if my tank is fighting a pet, I can't sit down and drink like I can with the druid, because, like, I know that if I'm AFK for slightly too long, my tank is just gonna get trucked, and I don't, without lay on hands, if it's, let's say it's down, it's really hard. Like, look at me right now. You can tell that I'm struggling. This tank's got this nasty dot on, which, yes, okay, is nasty for any healing spec. But as you can tell, it is very hard for me to top everyone up. Now, I'm not running Beacon of Virtue and I'm not running Glimmer. And both of those talents would help with the AoE. But I'm also struggling keeping my tank alive, so sacrificing Beacon on my tank to run Beacon of Virtue doesn't feel like the play for the AoE. Glimmer, I haven't felt like it's super high value, so I haven't been playing it. Like, I think these two beacons, apologies for the car, these two beacons feel like maybe they're kind of the play, but even then, they just feel so weak. Like, look at me. You can just see that I'm having a hard time. And I don't want to use wings because it's a bigger pack after this. I'm also almost Okay, I end up using wings just because I know that there's just no way. So the spec feels really slow and really just, I was miserable playing it. And I know that this sounds like I'm kind of dogging on Holy Paladin, because I kind of am. But in terms of, if you play a Holy Paladin on live, right? Yes, okay, we have the Ineffable Truth build. Fair enough. But even if we didn't have Ineffable Truth, our 2-minute CDs are still better than this one is 3 minutes and the other is 2 minutes. But even when you're popped wings, your healing isn't insane. And because you have to wait 2 minutes for that, that feels pretty bad. Waiting 2 minutes for wings and then still being... Oh, apologies on that one. And then still being kind of inefficient is so scary. Like... I can't even. I dread playing this spec. And until they do something about it, I probably won't be able to play it again. Because I'm miserable playing it. It's like... If you want a hard time, sure, go ahead and play it. But like, Resto Druid, Resto Shaman, Mistweaver, Disc Priest, all do incredibly more healing, better damage, and you're way less stressed. This spec, without CDs, is terrifying to play. And like, I also haven't played Holy Paladin with Holy Power, so that's new to me, because I only started playing Holy Paladin this patch. But like right now I have no wings, right? And look at how slow it is for me to get people up. Half their HP is just not moving. This is very laggy. I didn't know this. Anyway, it's not great. I'll talk a little bit about the conduits and the legendaries, but I just want to say I'm not trying to completely shit on the spec. I'm just trying to say that for the difficulty it takes to heal on this spec right now is not worth the effort of actually trying to play it. So, anyway, I'll talk a little bit more. Now, this is my Paladin. This is my current gear. Haste is very low. I'm at 8% haste. Whatever. It's not really the lack of stats that makes this class feel so bad. Now, okay, so here's the thing, right? Holy Avenger, 3-minute CD. Normally it's a 2-minute CD. And all this does, it doesn't buff your haste, it buffs your holy power generation. Okay, that's alright. But then my main issue is, outside, like if you take damage, okay, Holy Shock. Holy Shock is on an 8.5 second cooldown. Yes, you can reduce that with Crusader Strike, don't get me wrong. Okay? But then your only other option at that point is the Word of Glory, which is a good heal, a very, very good heal, I do have to say. But my main issue with that then is that what now? Okay, we Light of Dawn. Cool. We can Holy Shock. But just imagine you're taking a fuckload of damage. Then what? Let's say you don't have your CDs running. Okay, I've got 6 seconds on my Holy Shock. Okay, I'm gonna Word of Glory one person. Cool. Okay, so at this point I don't have Beacon of Virtue and I don't have Glimmer. So then you kind of just have to, okay, I'm gonna Flash a Light. I'm gonna Flash a Light, I'm gonna Flash a Light. Because that's kind of all you have left. You can Light of the Martyr, sure. But it doesn't, the playstyle doesn't feel like it makes sense. Because everything feels so slow and kind of all over the place. So like, let's have a look. I don't know, like, my healing numbers are just quite low. Like, here we go. So that's my Holy Shock. I'm also running Judgment of Light just to help me out. Also, this Shock Barrier is my Legendary, which I'm not sure. It kind of feels like the only good Legendaries, because all the Legendaries kind of suck. I'll be honest. So... It's been okay, but you have to imagine this doesn't look so bad, but when it just doesn't play well. So my Legendary is this one here. Holy Shock protects the target with a shield of Holy Light for 18 seconds, absorbing up to 737 damage for every 6 seconds. I hate to say it, if I wasn't running this Legendary, I would be having a bad time. This Legendary just helps me out a little bit. These other ones are kind of bad. Like we have Infusion of Light has 1 additional charge and its effects are increased by 20%. Yeah, okay, that I guess that's alright. Avenging Wrath or any forbearance ability grants 5 holy power. That's kind of trap, I'll be honest. That's only going to be every 2 minutes. Light of Dawn. This one is the only other one I could think about fiddling with a little bit. Light of Dawn's range is increased to 40 yards and all allies inside your Light of Dawn receive 10% increased healing from your spells for 6 seconds. Still feels a bit trap. I'm not sure if I like it. This one definitely I've had the most success with. And even then, that's not a whole lot of success, I'll be honest. I did play this one in the beginning. When you reach 5 holy power, you gain Blessing of Dawn. When you reach 0, you gain Blessing of Dusk. And when you have 5 holy power, your damage and healing is increased by 6% for 10 seconds. And when you're at 0, your damage taken reduced by 6% for 10 seconds. I was playing that one in the beginning, and whew, I'll tell you, it wasn't feeling good. It wasn't feeling good. I definitely think that this one is kind of the only way to go right now. There is still one Holy Paladin Legendary to come, but this is the only one I can see right now that makes the spec somewhat bearable. But yeah. Then we go for talents. Now talents are pretty much the same. I would rather go Saved by the Light here, but I'm telling you now, I have to run Judgment of Light in some... It's very situational, don't get me wrong. I don't run this in every dungeon. I run this in some dungeons just to help me out a little bit. Even then, it's not very effective. As you can see, it's kind of okay. But it just helps me out a little bit. And then these are the same. Holy Avenger. Sanctified Wrath. I played both of these, but I feel like Sanctified Wrath is better. Now, Glimmer could be okay. I was playing it a little bit, but it just... I wasn't blown away, I'll be honest. I'll have to test it out a bit more. I was playing Beacon of Virtue, but I really struggled healing my tank when I was running Beacon of Virtue. So... that was very scary. My tank needed so much healing, and that made the dungeon just feel literally awful. This feels like decent for myself plus the tank, but your AoE healing suffers significantly. So, I have to do a little bit more testing for Holy Paladin, but it's honestly so weird to play. And that's not just because I play it on live and now it's all haste buffed and crit buffed and whatnot. It just feels terrible. Like you're casting a lot of spells for next to no gain. Like your heals don't do that much and they cost so much mana. It's absolutely insane. So that I'm not too sure about. I don't know if these were in the game the other day. We're just gonna buy these because I don't think the other day the potency conduits were added. So I think they might have been added now, because I was about to say that they weren't in the game before when I first played this spec. So maybe these might make a big difference, but we'll have a look. I did have most of them anyway. Okay, yeah, no, it definitely didn't. Okay, so for potency conduits, Aura Master's CD is reduced by 30 seconds. Crusader Aura reduces all... okay. Nope. Nope. Wait, where did these go? Here. Light of the Miner's damage and healing is increased by 5% each time it casts. Holy Shock's chance to crit strike increased? Maybe that's... Holy Light heals... Oh my god. Holy Light heals up to 5 targets within... Wait, that sounds kind of interesting. I want to test that out, actually. I want to test this one out, too. Divine Shield's cooldown. Is there another good potency conduit? I guess this Aura Mastery one. We'll try that. Anyway, okay, so now that we have potency conduits, I can actually talk about them because we didn't have these the other day. So now I got to actually fill my tree. So maybe the spec will feel okay now that I have these. I'll do a dungeon after this and I'll have to test it out. But I think that these... Oh, this one here, I'm not sure is good. Consecration heals you for 50% of Consecration's damage every second while standing in it. I just equipped that because I thought it might help me out a little bit with healing. So I'll have to... I didn't actually notice that healing, so I'll have to look. But I definitely think that these 3 potency conduits might make a big difference, actually. But in terms of Holy Paladin right now, even though those got added, it still feels a little bit weak. Sorry, it's moving. It needs a little bit... I think it needs a little bit of number tuning, in my opinion. Just in terms of keeping up. Because the other healers, I feel like, outclass Holy Paladin so much. Just because their mana consumption is less. Their spells that they do cast have are just much more effective. Which Holy Paladin kind of lacks. So, maybe it will... get a little bit of tuning sometime soon. But I, for sure, probably, if it stays the way that it is, won't be maining Holy Paladin for another tier. Especially when Disc and Resto Druid, Mistweaver, Resto Shaman, they feel fun and they seem powerful. So I think Holy Paladin, unfortunately, is just kind of in a bad spot right now. But let me know what you guys think. People might play this and they love the Holy Power edition and they love the way that it feels. I would totally understand. I just think that with these dungeons being overtuned, there's lots of random damage that people don't know what to do with. It just really, really, really suffers right now. But let me know what you think. And if not, I will see you guys next time. I'll try and get a Holy Priest done done sometime soon. And I apologize for the coughing a little bit. I am quite sick and I wanted to get this done. So I hope you have a lovely rest of your night or day wherever you are. And I will see you next time. Bye.